If I were to ask you point blank right now, are you happy? Most of us would say, sure, kind of, mostly. But if I change that question to, could you be happier? Almost all of us would probably say yes. I feel exactly the same way. I'm in the same boat. Because if somebody says to me, are you happy? I immediately think of the big stuff. Food, family, shelter, health, I'm doing all right. But if you change that question to, could I be happier? Then I start to think of the everyday mundane things, and I think, yeah, those could probably use a little help. Because more often than not, when I'm doing my day job, or I'm doing chores, or I'm paying the bills, I'm actually daydreaming about my next vacation, or the next birthday celebration, or seeing my family again. So essentially, I'm kind of living vacation to vacation, and foregoing all that in-between time. So I started to ask myself, how can we be a little bit happier in all that in-between time? Because there's a lot of it, and my next vacation is not for a while. And that's where the 4 happiness chemicals come in: serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins, and dopamine. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about those chemicals, what happens when we don't get enough of them, and then showing you real examples of everyday things we can do to trigger those happiness chemicals so that we can add a few more pockets of happiness into all those in-between moments. So let's jump in. The first chemical is serotonin. This is known as our mood or well-being chemical. This is essentially how we feel from the inside out. When we increase our levels of serotonin, we can effectively push ourselves into a better mood. Because when we don't have enough serotonin in our body, we can feel down and low and not be that excited by everyday activities, and even put us in a depressive mood. So here are some practical ways that we can increase serotonin in our day-to-day. Fresh air. Fresh air, even in the tiniest form, can have such a dramatic impact on our day. Even if you're running errands all day, just getting outside the house for those few minutes can really boost your mood. Mindful activities. These are the activities that when we sit down to do them, all of the other outside noise kind of goes away and we're hyper-focused on what we're doing. For me, this includes adult coloring books, journaling, even doing some puzzles. Breathing. This one, you don't have to be a meditation guru to enjoy this one. This one is simply about just catching your breath or noticing your breath, even on days that are really hectic. Sometimes I'll have days where I have meetings back to back to back and I'm constantly on the go. So what I'll do is just pause in between meetings and I'll just catch my breath and take 3 deep breaths and notice where I am and notice my body. And even that can do a ton to put me in slightly better mood before I jump into the next thing. Practicing gratitude. This is such a tiny thing that can have such a big impact. Because when we say something good about our life or something good about our day, it can actually create more good and create a cycle of positivity. So even on bad days, even when it's been a terrible day, you can notice something good in your day and that will put you in a better mood. Calming music. This is one of my favorite ones because this one doesn't take very much effort. I usually just put on some calming music in the background, and that can be through YouTube ambiances. They're completely free. You can just look up some, and it could be a bookstore or a cozy meadow or anything that appeals to you. And just having this in the background can really level set your mood even when you're doing kind of mundane activities like folding the laundry or putting things away. Just having it in the background kind of gives you that foundation and level sets your mood. The next chemical is dopamine. This is often referred to as our reward or motivation chemical. So you know that sense of accomplishment you get when you achieve something, or that really satisfying feeling when you check off something on your to-do list and you feel really productive? That's dopamine at work. Consequently, when we don't get enough dopamine, we can feel less motivated to do things. So you know those days when you're dragging your feet and you can't put one foot in front of the other and get hands to keyboard and actually get going, you're probably noticing a slight decrease in dopamine. So here are some natural ways that you can add some more to your everyday. Sunlight. This is such an easy one because you can just step outside your front door or in your backyard. You don't have to plan a whole day out and about and have a picnic and be out there for hours. Even just a few minutes in sunlight can really boost dopamine levels. High protein foods. So without getting into the nitty-gritty, because I'm not a nutritionalist, the high-level idea here is that high protein foods have 2 essential amino acids that are important in the production of dopamine. So this includes foods like chicken, almonds, sweet potatoes, avocados, eggs, all those delicious foods. And high protein foods not only keep us full and give us energy, they're actually creating those happiness chemicals and creating that release of dopamine. Organizing. So for most of us, Monday through Friday is just survival mode. I call it the circus of life, and things just get strewn from here to there, and there's stuff everywhere, and there's a lot of clutter that can happen. And sometimes, that physical clutter can equate to mental clutter in our minds if our environment is really disorganized. So sometimes doing really ordinary things like tidying our desks or putting the books away or putting things in their rightful place can give us that sense of accomplishment and release dopamine. Standing. Now this one might seem really simple, but actually most of our lives are very sedentary, whether that's our day jobs or when we sit down in the evenings to watch a movie or we're scrolling our phones or whatever it might be. Most of our lives are now spent being sedentary. So by standing, you automatically are releasing that little bit of dopamine and giving you that boost to go and do something. For me, my day-to-day is at a computer, unfortunately, so I can't get away from that. But what I'll do sometimes is just stand up from my desk and go to the kitchen island, and I've created a standing desk for myself. And when I'm standing, I notice I actually start moving my body, or I'll start stretching and moving all those aches and pains that I have, and I wouldn't normally do that when I'm sitting down. The next chemical is oxytocin. This is known as our love or bonding chemical. You know those warm and fuzzy feelings you get when you are around people that you love and you spend quality time together? That's oxytocin. And when your body releases oxytocin, it's also proactively decreasing cortisol levels, which is our stress hormones. So it's a win-win situation because you're getting more of a good thing, but also proactively getting less of a bad thing. And subsequently, when we don't have enough oxytocin in our body, we can feel like not spending time with other people. It can have a dramatic impact on our long-term relationships, how we interact with people, and how we communicate with them. So here are some natural ways that we can increase oxytocin in our everyday. Hugging someone. This one seems so simple, but you can get such benefit from just a quick hug. So whether it's your partner or your child or your roommate or whoever it might be, just giving them a hug every day can really release and work on those oxytocin levels. Going out to a meal with a friend or a loved one. There's nothing like sitting across the table and enjoying good conversation over a nice meal to really boost our oxytocin levels and feel like we've spent time with somebody that we really enjoy being around. Playing a game or other social interactions. These are those other types of interactions where they're really mindful. When you're doing that activity, you're not thinking about anything else, and all the noise from every day kind of quiets down, and you're just really intently focused on getting that next roll of your dice and landing on the property that you want or winning the game, and it's a great way to release oxytocin in a healthy way. Watching a really feel-good movie or show also has that effect on releasing oxytocin in our body. So in my house, if there's not music playing, then you'll usually find the show Friends playing in the background because this is my comfort and these are my feel-good people. So even if I'm making dinner or I'm doing laundry or any of those mundane activities or cleaning up or cleaning the bathroom, you'll always hear the sound of Friends in the background, and it kind of makes me feel a little warm and fuzzy inside and makes that mundane activity a little bit brighter. The last chemicals are endorphins. These are known as the painkillers. This is our body's natural way of dealing with pain. So you get a release of endorphins when you partake in activities that bring you pleasure, those physical movements that make you feel good, and tell your brain that I really enjoy doing this activity. Subsequently, when we don't have enough endorphins in the body, we can actually experience more aches and pains, we can have trouble sleeping, and even increased bouts of moodiness. So what are some natural ways that we can increase endorphins? The first one is the obvious one, which is exercise. Now, most of us don't readily enjoy exercise unless you're a physical trainer or you're a bodybuilder. A lot of us don't have the time or energy to partake in this one. So for me, I like to combine this one with my hobbies. So if I can find a way to get physically active, but do it with something that I love doing, then it makes it a little bit easier for me to do it every day. So this can be something like rock climbing or swimming, or even going for a walk with a friend. Having a friend to do something with always makes it easier. Laughing. This is one of my favorite ones because I'm one of those people that really truly enjoys laughing, and I wish I could get a good gut-wrenching laugh every day. So whether that's watching a TV show or a comedy special or looking at memes on your phone or just having a happiness folder on your phone where you've saved some clips that really make you laugh can really play a big role in releasing those endorphins. Essential oils. This is a great one because it's also another easy one that you can add to your everyday. I like to take a couple drops of essential oils, whether that's lavender or eucalyptus, and just add a few drops to my shower stream before I step inside. And so when I'm in the shower, it makes a very mundane activity that much more enjoyable and releases that little bit of endorphins and gives me that feel-good feeling. And then lastly, making time to play every day. It is such a tragedy that as we become older and we become adults that we forget that inner child inside all of us. So no matter what your type of play looks like, whether it's singing or dancing or just playing around with your child and rolling around on the floor, whatever it might be, take time every day to find some form of play, and that will also increase the endorphins in your life. So those 4 chemicals play a huge part in our day-to-day happiness. None of us can be happy every minute of every day, but by adding in small pockets of happiness, like the examples I showed in this video, can help us enjoy those in-between moments a little bit more and not just look forward to birthdays and vacations. And over the course of our lifetime, those in-between moments actually make up the majority of our life, so let's make them count. Thanks for watching today. Comment down below if you have fun ways that you add in small bits of joy and happiness to your day. I'm going to be making a more detailed video on each of these 4 chemicals, so look out for those. Hit that subscribe button so you can be alerted when those go live. But thanks for watching today and joining on this happiness journey. I'll catch you next time.